Hey everybody, it's Pam from Nana's Crafting Cottage, and I am back today to start on a fall project. If you're anything like me, you're kind of tired of the heat and ready for it to cool off. And although up here in Northwest Oregon, the trees have started to turn, actually they started turning in July, but they're really turning now because we have warm days, cooler nights, and it's just kicking them into their change of leaves. So, and I have one of my hens that is molting, which is the earliest they have ever done it. They usually wait until about October, November to start. So I'm kind of glad that they're starting to do it earlier this year. Okay, so with that behind us, I hope you're all doing well. I thank you for being here with me. And today we are going to work on something that I saw on Crafty-Cat recently, and so it gave me some ideas of what to do for a little fall project. So what we are going to do is I have these oversized playing carts, and I have gotten some fabric pieces out here, and I'm going to kind of tab bind them, only I want them to close this way and this way so that they fold out instead of like a booklet, so it'll be a little bit different. I've sanded down 2 of them and I left one to show how I do that. And then we will be spraying on some CICADA paper, which is thinner than regular tissue paper. And this is what I came up with playing around with it. So we will end up using this, but I will be doing the rest of it with you guys. This is probably going to be a 2-part project. So we'll do part of it today. We'll get kind of the background stuff done today, and then we will finish it the next time. So I'm glad you're here. Okay, with all that aside, I have my water, and what I have used for this is my distress spray stains, different ones, so we'll go through that. Also, I have a book page here that I want to watercolor on, and that's what I did to make these leaves. I saw Crafty-Cat do that, and then I drew the leaves themselves with my fine liner pen here, and it's a set, and this is 1.0. This is perfected liner pens, and they go from real tiny thin to just a little bit thicker than this. So I was playing around with them, and this seemed to be the best one to use. So anyway, those are my products. I will try and put a link for the different things that I'm using, and I also used my watercolor or water soluble crayons, which is just a small kit, and it is Portfolio series. It has these 2 sets of colors in there, which is just enough. I didn't have any, so I wanted to play with them, see how they were before I moved up to a bigger set. So this had all the colors that I wanted, and so we will use those. Okay. Let's get started. So first of all, I want to get this sanded, and what I'm using is one of my pouncers and these sanding discs that Tim Holtz has. So I'm just going to get the shine off so that we can glue down the cicada paper when we're done with it, getting it colored and such. So I hope everyone's doing well. I hope your area is starting to cool off. We've been extremely warm for up here, and there hasn't been any rain this summer. So the berries, the blackberries, our raspberries, and all that are about ready to go to sleep already. So even though we water, the blackberries are wild. It just hasn't had much rain or any rain this summer, which is unusual. Okay, I got that sanded. So let me set those aside for now. Those will get covered later. Let me down a bit. So I thought today would be a good mixed media day. Now I have this large book page, and I'm going to use my watercolor or water-soluble crayons on here. And I just kind of followed what Crafty Cat did with hers. And so I'm just going to color in where I want the various colors to go. And it's just whatever. It's just whatever. Whatever hits my fancy. So I hope you guys don't have any fires around you, or hopefully they are almost out if you do. We were very smoky last week for about 4 or 5 days. Very miserable. But it has subsided the last couple days, so we're very happy about that. A lot clearer, and yeah. Okay, so I'm just using all these different colors from my little set here. And when I played with them the other day, they were really fun to do. So I just thought, well, we'll give it a go. That's why I wanted this to be a two-parter, because of all the different things that I wanted to do and show you guys. Let's see, I just keep switching off and doing different patches of various colors, and that's what I did for these leaves here. And I thought they came out pretty neat. And then I just inked them around the edges with my Distress ink, which was in Scorched Timber. I tried the Vintage Photo, but it was not dark enough. So I switched, and they look a lot better. You can at least see it. Okay, so I have all my colors on there. I have a nice big fat brush here. And so I'm just going to start kind of scrubbing the color around, and I just let it go wherever it wants to. And I'm sure you've seen this before, other people doing it, just various ways. And I just let the colors blend, because as you can see here, you get a real pretty kind of sunset type look. Just kind of softens it. And then I just kind of scrub it around. Wherever it lands, it stays. And this is kind of a heavy book page, so it can absorb the water without shredding, like some of the thinner, like dictionary type book pages. Yeah. So I'm just kind of spreading the color around. So trying to get it not so defined in the different areas, but being these colors that are the crayons that they are, they're not the expensive ones. Like I said, I just wanted to start small and go from there. But I'm just getting it nice and wet, blending the colors as much as I possibly can. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. There's no huge definitive marks or lines anywhere, so there we go. I just kind of blended in the colors. Now I will just take this aside and let it dry. So I will take it to the other room, let it dry, and I will be right. Okay, I am back. Now I just remembered that I used tissue paper for spraying on this. So where's my paper towel? Here it is. So I goofed on that. I thought I had used the cicada wing paper, but I didn't. Okay, anyway, this is just plain old tissue paper, and the cicada wing paper that I will be using on the project is thinner than the tissue paper, and I will try and remember to link that from Amazon below too. Okay, so what I had done is I just sprayed. I just started spraying, and yeah, so I think I'll have to move my marker. Let's expand this there, like that. And spray stains. So I'll just name off what I'm using and what I'm spraying, and then we'll just go from there. This is the frayed burlap. And after you use your stain, you always want to wipe the nozzle because it can cake up and dry on there. And if you kind of not do like a full spray, it does the spots or the blobs on there. Okay, that was frayed burlap. This is squeezed lemonade. That's a full-on spray. Okay, and then the green is Lucky Clover. And like I said, these are all spray stains. And I'm just doing a half pump so I get more of the spots going on. That's just how I wanted to do it. This is the Scorched Timber. Same way. Okay. And Crackling Campfire. Bring in the colors of fall here. And then Rustic Wilderness. And I'm going to let it lay just like that, because as you can see, we get the pools of the different colors and the blends in here, and it will dry like that if you leave it. So I am going to put this in the other room and let it dry, and then I will be right back. Let me get my computer stopped here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I did help this along and get it dry. So I love the coloring in here. Just kind of softened it out. So what I want to do on here is draw the leaves. So I just took my fine liner pen and just started drawing. Just a simple leaf. And I saw Crafty Cat do this and I thought, what a wonderful idea. So I just thought I would take that idea and run with it and kind of give it some dimension as much as I can here. Got. And I just did some big ones, some little ones, this little stem. And I curved it so they kind of look like they're bent a little bit. Kind of bend the lines a little bit. Just whatever. Just something to mess with. There we go. So I did the leaves like that. And then some of them I did real close veins. And this fine liner pen works amazing. I think I found it on Amazon, either there or Ross, I can't remember. So if I did find it on Amazon, I will link it below. But yeah, so down there. And I just did them all different directions, all different sizes. Very relaxing thing to do. There. Okay, so that's how I did those. Then what I did was I tore them out. I fussy tore them out. So I just let this go in here. I got them in chunks so that I could do each one carefully, as carefully as I could. I think I did 10 of them because I wanted to have several for some of my other fall projects coming up. And I'll save this aside for some more later. But then I just tore them out, left just a little border around, just using my fingers. As Louisa Heinz will say, these are finger tools. Okay. And I just carefully went around. And I'll just show you one. I think you know how to tear paper. Okay, so that's how they came out. And then I will put these aside for other projects. I took my Scorched Timber Distress ink and my pouncer and sponge and just went around the edges. Very easy, very quick project. There we go. So that's how I did the leaves. Okay. Now, we are going to start by grabbing the cards here. And I want to get the cicada wing paper glued onto them, and that, as I always do, I will use my glue stick. This is when you could get the Scotch Create permanent glue stick. I did find some more, but they're just the permanent glue stick by Scotch. So I know Crafty Cat was going through that as well. And I just remembered I need to sand the backs, but I'm just going to do the fronts right now. We'll do the other later. And get a good dew on here. And I want to see and make sure that I have all the areas covered, because I don't want it to start coming up in the middle, and there's nothing you can do about it then. Because once the cicada wing paper is down, it is down. It's too thin to try and pull up. I've tried. Just talking from experience here. Okay, so let's stick that on. And let me get my spreader here. And this is just a spreader. It's a paint spreader is what it is. You can get it at Harbor Freight. You can get it Weimar, whatever store sells paint, they probably have these. I just got it in a set off of Amazon because I didn't want to go hunting around for it. Let's put it that way. Oh golly. Yeah. If I don't feel like going out and shopping for something, I don't. Because 99% of the time I can find it on Amazon and it's much easier and I don't have to go anywhere. Yeah. Okay, so there's that one. We'll let that sit and dry. And let's do the next one here. At least get these covered. There we go. So my husband and I went to the Garlic Festival this weekend in our town. I think it was the 28th, and we've lived here longer than it has been going. So we've seen it grow. It's still just a small festival, but it's very popular around here. Everything, all the food and everything is required to have elephant garlic in it. So they have garlic mashed potatoes, garlic chicken with a garlic coating, and yes, garlic ice cream, which is amazing, surprisingly enough. And so we went there, just kind of walked through. I mean, everything is so expensive, like everything else, right? So we just walked through a couple of days of it and did a couple yard sales, one being at the new antique shop that I absolutely love in our town. We finally have a decent one, and it's not exorbitantly priced. All the booths are very reasonable. Yeah. So, okay, and I just squish up the cicada wing paper, bring it out carefully. So I like the little lines and such in it when it's folded. Plus, when you distress it, they show those lines even more. Yeah, so we had a busy few days this weekend. We were pretty pooped out. Friday, we walked up to the festival. It's a small town. We can walk pretty much anywhere, wherever there's anything. But it was hot, and they didn't open until noon, and it was pretty warm by then. So by the time we were ready to come back, which was pretty quickly, we were done in. I mean, done in. So we didn't even feel like trying anything as far as the food at the festival. Because it was so hot, we didn't feel like eating out in the heat. And there were a lot of people coming in, so we were just like, yeah, let's just go home and eat. So we did. We came home and ate. I said, I can make something probably even better than what they have. Yeah. Pretty sad to say, but yeah. So we just came home and lopped out the rest of the day. Okay, so I got that all glued on. Now, what I like to do when I do that, and if you've been watching me for any length of time, you know that I like to sand the edges, and I'll just use my same sander here and just, it gives the cleanest edge that you could ever get. I used to try to cut them with my scissors, but it was such a pain to try and get close enough, and you still end up sanding some of the stuff off. So I just do it automatically, and it works every single time. Now, between now and the next time that we're together, I will get the backs done, so you don't have to see that again. It's probably like watching paint dry, because you've probably seen it a million times before. So I'll just get this taken care of. And that little corner here, I'm not going to worry about because I will be inking it. So we will just take it as it comes. Tissue paper there. Okay. Here we go. Yes, I hang on to pieces like that. But I don't hang on to pieces like this because it's just too much to store. Yeah. Doing pretty good time-wise. I didn't want it to be a super long video, but I did want to get started on this with you. So the next time we are together, I will have had the backs done on this, and then we can get started on the putting together of these pieces and decorating, which is the most fun part anyway, isn't it? So I'm going to ink these with my vintage photo distress ink, distress oxide ink, I might add. because nothing is going to be going on these that I need to worry about it bleeding. Because it is a water-soluble ink, it does move with water. Let's see. Go about this too. Yeah. Yeah, see, it just brings those lines right out and gives it texture. There we go. Pretty neat, huh? So that's why I like to wrinkle up my either tissue paper or cicada wing paper. Like I said, cicada wing I think is even just a little bit thinner than the patterned tissue paper. I know it's definitely thinner than my regular tissue paper, like for wrapping and such. So there's another one. It's pretty worn out, doesn't it? That is the point. Okay, so we'll get these all prepped, ready to go. And then if you want to follow along, you can get your items done however you want to do them. And in the next video, like I said, the backs will be done on these already. And then we will put this together, put these pieces together as a Z-fold type thing, and get them decorated. So that is what I'm going to do for today. And get your tissue paper, however you want to do that, done. If you want to do the book page leaves, get those ready, and get your cards ready. And whatever else you want to put on them, however you want to decorate, and we will move along on the next video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope to see you in the next video for the next step. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.